Here we have now certain things arranged for your visual feed. You can enjoy certain things related to the families. Let us first take up Solanaceae. I think you are aware that, Solanum Tuberosum, the potato. You know this very well. Solanum Tuberosum, the potato. And you have learned a lot of morphology of the potato. Just for quick revision, you know, these are the places where the axillary buds are there, and the axillary buds seems to have sprouted. You can see now, this is how vegetative reproduction can occur. If I cut this much piece and put it in the soil, I think this will grow into a potato plant. This is underground stem. You know this very well. That different, whether it is underground stem or not, that's not a major point, but it is interesting that potato belongs to the same family to which brinjals belong. So I'll come to brinjal, and this is Solanum melongena. See the two. Solanum tuberosum, Solanum melongena. Genus is same. Specific name different. That means these are two different species belonging to the same genus. You are aware that in a given genus there can be many species. Here we have Solanum tuberosum and Solanum melongena belonging to the same genus. Very beautiful. I think this is what is called as eggplant. In India we don't need to call this an eggplant. What is interesting is the persistent calyx. Can you see? This is what is there right from the time it was a flower. Persistent calyx is that which remains there during the fruit formation, and it becomes swollen and becomes edible. And this is the ovary. You know, they said ovary is swollen. You know, it's a bicarpellary ovary, and the details of the ovary of the Solanaceae you know very well. The brinjal, very common. Here you have now tomato. Even tomato belongs to Solanaceae family. And see the scientific name, Lycoposicon Lycopesicum. Lycoposicon Lycopesicum. That's tomato. Genus is different. So you have these two belonging to the Solanum genus. This is a different genus. So within a family there may be many genera, and within a genus there can be species. When it comes to the capsicum, you know, this is Capsicum annum, all these. That's all Capsicum annum. Simla mirch. Very popular and very commonly being used as vegetable. Of course, these are all hybrid varieties, but it is Capsicum annum. Similarly, the more commonly available and used chilies are Capsicum frutescens. So Capsicum frutescens are these, and Capsicum annum is these. So once again, compare. Genus is same, Capsicum. One is frutescens, another is annum. So this is how, while you are learning the plant family, you are revising not only morphology, but you are also revising the principles of classification, the binomial nomenclature. You are learning a few new names of the plants. Not only that, I would also add, just as an example, if you think of this one, you know that this is something which has got a lot of lycopene. Lycopene. That's why the name of this plant is Lycoposicon. What is lycopene? It's an antioxidant substance which is present. And eating tomatoes a day is good because the lycopene will clean the oxidants in your body. So it has got antioxidant effect. Not only that, but it has got also it's also a great source of vitamin C. I mean to say, learning biology is all of this kind. Presently, you are trying to understand Solanaceae. For Solanaceae, you must know a good amount of morphology. While learning morphology, you must also know their taxonomy, because taxonomy and morphology are related. And not only that, but add to that the nutrition aspect. So, please be sure that things become interrelated, and interrelated things are always good to learn. Think of the potato. You already know that although it is not looking like a normal stem, it's a modified stem. and you already know that in the cells there are what are popularly called as starch grains, amyloplasts. I just want you to, I want you to help to remember many of these things. So this is how things become interesting, important, and the subject is so closely related to the life. Nature is bountiful. There are so many just samples of almost each family available around. And for arranging this demonstration, we just had around in the vicinity, and we got so many good samples of the Solanaceae. Look here. This is a very beautiful sample of wild tomato. Can you see this? Wild tomatoes, unripe and ripe. Actually, if you look carefully to this tomato fruit, you can see here the typical feature of persistent calyx. Can you see the persistent calyx here? The calyx is persistent because even when the fruit is ready, the calyx continues to be there. Look at the flower. Let's hope we will be able to see some details of the flower. Not all the details as you can expect theoretically, but in this flower you can expect these are the petals. Petals are appearing to be free. Normally you expect that for the Solanaceae, petals should be united. Not always. They may be partially united, or in some cases they may not be united. Here in this particular example, they are not as united as you expect. That's what I am trying to tell you, that family is a big group, and within the group, between the genera and the species, variations are possible. Can you see this bunch? These are all stamens. These are all stamens. As you can see, these are all stamens. Carpel will be hidden inside. It's a tiny flower. Every flower will develop into a fruit. I'll now take up one more example which is more convincing type, and I'll take up the datura. Well, here the flower is separately being shown, and this is the plant. Datura plant is very common. It's a wild plant, and it has got strong alkaloids, a little kind of poisonous plant. Let us look at this typical Solanaceae flower. You can see the calyx, which is made up of 5 sepals united. You can see the 5 sepals united, gamoseparous condition. And then there you have the corolla, which is forming a kind of a tube, and it is gamopetalous condition. If I just want to open this corolla, okay, I am able to open the corolla, and here inside you will find the 5 stamens. Are you able to understand the 5 stamens? These are the 2, these are additional 2, 4, and the 5. 5 stamens and 1 carpel. Carpel is in the center. You can see the carpel here. 5 stamens and 1 carpel. The peculiarity of the stamens is that the condition is epipetalous. You can see this androecium, that is the filaments of these stamens, is attached to the corolla. Filaments of the stamens is attached to the corolla. Epipetalous condition. Here is the typical style. Here is the typical style, and the style and the stigma, and deep inside will be the ovary. It's a hypogynous flower. We have one more example, and that is again a wild plant, and we could not identify the species, but it's a Solanaceae family surely. You can see the spiny projections on the stem, which is again peculiarity of some of the Solanaceae species. Even on the brinjal, you know that there are spines, as you can see in the brinjal. So spiny parts is rather common in the Solanaceae. These are the flowers which are typically in a kind of a cymose inflorescence. Can you look at this cymose inflorescence? Typically cymose inflorescence. So this is the topmost flower, and these are the lower flowers, and lower flowers bloom later on. This cymose inflorescence then gets converted into a bunch of fruits. Once again, the berry type of fruits. It's very interesting to note that the inflorescence at the positions of the flowers and the positions of fruit are matching naturally, because wherever there is a flower, that turns into a fruit. You can see very clearly here the inflorescence getting converted into a cluster of fruits. Very interesting. Understand, you are learning all these things because you are basically interested in biology. Why you are taken biology? You say you are interested. Going to medical is one small aspect. I will daily say this, daily. Why? Because learning biology is possible only for those who are very lucky, and you will start understanding nature better. So, whenever you are moving about, when you are learning 2-3 families, at least those 3 families, maybe 1-2 more families I am going to take up later on, you will start understanding the nature better. Don't learn biology for going to medical. I'll repeat this again and again. Medical is a small issue for biology. You are learning biology to understand the living world around better. And because you are learning so much of good biology, Solanaceae and Fabasy and all, therefore you appear for NEET. Don't study for the biology or physics examination by subjects for NEET. Because you are studying, you appear for NEET. It makes a lot of difference. Chance of selection will improve and your mindset will be towards it. All the best. We are now going for the next family, Fabaceae. Let's begin with some of the samples for Fabaceae family. Originally it was being called as Papilianaceae. It is one of the interesting families. It's a huge family. You can see 500 genera and 10,000 species. Flower will be shown to you, but I think we'll try to understand in what way it is related to our life. Can you closely look at all these things? And I'm sure you are understanding that it is all related to your daily foods. So it's so important agriculturally. So all these different materials are what we consume almost daily, or we should rather consume daily. Many of them are pulses. So this is a family which is famous for the different pulses. Say for example, you have the Phaseolus vulgaris, that is kidney beans, rajma. Then you have Vigna aconicifolia, matki. I think the names are very strange. Matki banala baro atta na, but then Vigna aconicifolia is too much. But then that is how the binomial nomenclature goes. Then mung, Vigna radiata. So Vigna is a common genus. This is Vigna, this is also Vigna. But specific name is different. That means these two are 2 different species. That's how within a genus there can be more species. We have third example of the Vigna. See, this is the third example of Vigna. Vigna unguiculata. Oh my God, Vigna unguiculata, chauri, black-eyed pea. So these 3 are 3 species which are under a single genus, Vigna. Like that, there can be hundreds of species of Vigna. Then Lens culinaris, Masur. Lens culinaris, Masur. Glycine max, soybean. But remember, these are soya chunks. The actual grains, the seeds are not there. We have taken up this from the kitchen, and these are, soya chunks are very commonly being used. Soya flakes and soya chunks, these are made out of the soya bean. So these are not seeds. These are not the actual original seeds. This is a product of those seeds. There are many other products. Then yes, Pisum sativum, very beautiful. Garden pea, this very well, very beautiful. And plenty of these things are available now. I'm sure you are enjoying it. So whenever you are listening to lectures, and if the Pisum sativa is available, let's enjoy it side by side. This is it. It's very beautiful. Ultimately it is on the ventral suture that the placenta is developed and the seeds are developed. Cicer irrinatum, chana, harbara, chickpea. Sacer erinatum. Sorry, not eritinum. Sacer eritinum, harbara, chickpea. Very interesting. Now coming to one of the great foods, Arachis hypogea. Peanuts. Very popular. Very good. My God. They say if you consume this daily, you will never have any deficiency of proteins. A handful is this much. Make sure that you are consuming handful of pulses. Either you soak in water at night and eat in the morning, or you can roast it and eat it, or otherwise also. It's a good source of iron, a very good source of protein and oils. All, you have lots of oils which are present here. We'll go to this is something which is interesting. Methi, Trigonella finum griseum. Pyramidal nomenclatures sometimes appear to be difficult, but imagine the efforts of those people who have been doing it right from the time of Linnaeus. Methi Bhaji, same. It has got these grains. Great food. Greatly, helping in overall development of immunity and health. That also belongs to Fabaceae family. I'll try to say that as I was told about the Solanaceae, about Fabaceae also I can say that you are understanding the variety again. This is a diversity. You know that there are 10,000 families for Fabaceae. Plus or minus, whatever. Out of these 10,000, how many are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Out of 10,000, you are looking at 11 families, and out of 10,000, you are looking at 11 species, and even some of these we are not able to identify. You can imagine what will be the great expanse of the Fabaceae family in the world. Even in India, there will be thousands of species. Please develop your genuine interest in learning, and then you will come to know that our education, what we are doing, is good. It's always a starting point. Education is never ending. So these are some of the species. Nutritionally, again, very important. If you sprout any one of them, and you consume a handful of the sprout pulses daily, well, you'll never have iron deficiency or protein deficiency or some vitamin, because when you sprout them, a lot of B vitamins are also produced and a lot of C vitamins are being produced. So please make sure that learning of biology will help you whether you go to medical or you don't go to medical. Don't worry about all those things. Learn this from that point of view. Soybean, glycine max, is very famous. It is one of the richest sources of proteins. It has got more proteins than the flesh. Whether you are eating a fish or whether you are eating chicken, these have got more protein than that. And lots of such things are available in the market. There's soya milk available, and you also should know that you can put this in your regular chapati making, the glycine max, and there's a kind of a product known as tofu. It's a kind of paneer which is made out of the soybean paneer. That paneer is called as tofu. Please be aware. You are going to become doctors. You are going to provide suggestions to others. A doctor himself must always remain healthy. Otherwise, how are you going to advise your patients to remain healthy? So you must know about foods. That's very important. These are all full of folic acid. Folic acid is one of the vitamins. So eat plenty of these things which are available. That is it. Most of the pulses provide us the proteins. You may be totally veg, doesn't matter. The totally veg people who are never eating non-veg, no eggs, okay, fine, but you must consume daily these pulses. And if you have the sprouted pulses daily, it's still better. I think with this, I can take you to the understanding of this nature of the flower. One more closer look to the flowers of the Fabaceae. I would like at least one of you to be able to identify this plant. Oh my God, this is also one of the very, very important food plant. We are consuming this almost every day in most of the houses in Maharashtra. Let me give you one more hint. It is also a kind of pulse. Yes, some of you have identified probably. This is तुअर, अरहर. वरण करतो ना नेहमी घरी तुम्ही याचंच खाता. जनरली महाराष्ट्रात तीच पद्धत आहे. This is having the scientific name Cajanus cajan. Okay, we'll write it on a slip later on and show you. Cajanus cajan. It's all belong to the same. It's a kind of a pulse again. याचं मोठं उत्पादन विदर्भामध्ये होतं. हे तुम्हाला माहित पाहिजे. Okay. So this is the thing. आता याचा इन्फ्लोरेसन्स बघा. Typical inflorescence आहे बघा या ठिकाणी. This is a racemose inflorescence because it's an acropetal succession. Lower flowers are blooming first. अजूनही त्या budsच आहेत. And upper flowers will be blooming later on. What is this kind of inflorescence called as? Racemose because it is acropetal in succession and centripetal in order of opening of flower. म्हणून म्हणतो मॉर्फॉलॉजी शिकत असताना जे काही सॅम्पल आहेत त्याचे सगळ्या वेगवेगळ्या ज्या गोष्टी आहेत त्या आपल्याला असल्या पाहिजेत. लेट्स नॉट वरी अबाउट अदर थिंग्स. I removed one of the flowers here and let us now examine this flower. Vexillary situation. Look at the board. You will find that there is a posterior standard petal, two lateral which are called as wings. Wings are also called as alae, and the standard is also called as vexillum. The standard is also called as vexillum. That's single. Lateral there are two alae. That means wings and alae is the same. And anterior, very important, there are two petals which are united to make a boat-like structure which is called as keel, K-W-E-L. And it is this keel which encloses stamens and pistil. A very beautiful type of arrangement. This is what is called as vexillary estivation. And let us now examine this. Actually, there are better flowers available, particularly clitoria, but unfortunately, somehow the clitoria we could not get today. Suppose I want to say that here is the flower. Have a close look. This is the flower. The standard is here. Standard. This is the standard petal, which is on the side of the main plant. The standard petal here is on the side of the main plant. So naturally, if this is the standard which is on the side of the main plant, then when the floral diagram is done, a point is put up there. So that is called as mother axis. So we will confirm this when we will be able to look at the floral diagram. So once again, this is the vexillum, that is standard, and the two lateral petals which are called as alae, or you can call them as wings. And this is then, I'll remove this for more clarity. I have removed the alae. Even I'll remove this. I'll also remove the standard. Okay. Now what remains is the boat-like structure. And in this boat-like structure, you can expect the stamens and the carpels. Very carefully observe. Very carefully observe. What are you expecting? For androecium, you are expecting diadelphous condition. I can show you clearly the diadelphous condition. See here. This is these are the 9 stamens and one is isolated. 9 and 1, 9 plus 1. So this is diadelphous condition. I would like to show you the carpel. I hope I'll be able to do it. I'm wondering if this is, this is a carpel here. Can you see this carpel here? This is a carpel, and this carpel will have an ovary deep inside. That ovary I will not be able to expose just now. If possible, we'll dissect it and then show it to you separately. So this is typically the vexillary situation. You have one more opportunity. This is also one such flower. This is of the pea plant, and you can you can see this is standard. These are the two lateral alae or wings, and now this is the boat-like structure, and these are the two petals which are united posteriorly. They are together, known as keel. I think for better closer observations, I'll remove the. I'm removing the vexillum and lateral petals. Lateral, that is alae, I have removed, and now I will also remove the standards. The standard is left. Standard is the vexillum. I'll cut away that also. So what remains is now only the keel, and in that now you can clearly observe. If I want to just uncover the androecium and the gynoecium inside, I hope it will be possible for me. Can you see here the stamens? Not everything has, I think you can see the 9+1 condition once again here. This is one stamen here and the 9 stamens here. 9 stamens together and 1 stamen here. Carpel is probably here, I am not sure. I'll not be able to show you the carpel here. So this is how, although the species are different, you know, that's one very important thing. This was the arhar. There is Kajan, Tur, and this is a pea. But then flower, I mean species are different and the grains are also looking different, but the flowers are similar. I think I told you that it is a flower which is more conservative. That means there is more similarity possible between flowers even if the species are different. So for a family, it is a floral design that is considered a stronger basis than the leaf and the stem and other things. I am sure you are going to always look at the things around. कितीतरी 10,000 स्पेसिस पैकी तुमच्या घराजवळ इकडे तिकडे नक्कीच तुम्हाला फॅबॅसीच्या फॅमिलीचं काही ना काही मिळेल. थोडा इंटरेस्ट घ्या. जाता येताना रस्त्याच्या कडेला पण फॅबॅसी दिसू शकतं. फॅबॅसी ओळखण्याची सिंपल गोष्ट काय वेगळं ते रेस्टिवेशन अगदी नक्की करा आणि तुम्ही सोलानासी, फॅबॅसी, लिलिएसी हे जर प्लांट्स बघितल्यात तर त्या तुम्ही अपलोड करा आणि आमच्याकडे पाठवा. It is possible that you may not, maybe that you feel confused. It's okay. And from our side, let me tell you, we are also not necessarily having all the information of 400 families. जगात कोणालाच 400 families information नसते. So even if you suppose click something and send it to us, we may try to identify it. We are not always sure, but this process is learning ची, okay? पण मला वाटतं की आपण प्रयत्न करूयात. So that's about the Fabaceae family. So here is Liliaceae family, and this is a wonderful flower, very beautiful. It's common. What a great fragrance! I'm sure you're not going to miss this. It's very commonly being grown as an ornamental plant, and this is having those features of the Liliaceae family which you are expecting to be observed. Oh, by the way, I'll come to this flower a little later. Here you have the onion. And you know, Allium cepa. For we people around Nasik, this is very popular because this district, Nasik district, is very famous for a tremendous agriculture of Allium cepa. Ah, my God, it's a wonderful thing. It's a very common food once again. And along with that, this is another thing, Allium sativum, garlic. Both of them belong to Liliaceae family. Liliaceae family, I think we are going to have, we'll be able to learn it through the pictures because all samples cannot be brought here. This is spider lily. What is this? Spider lily. Then you may say, what about the flowers? You know, these are all vegetative parts, but when this will grow, when this will grow fully, a central stalk of the stem will grow and then it will form umbel inflorescence, a cluster of umbel inflorescences. Only if you visit the agricultural plot where the onions are growing, particularly in a late season, you'll be able to see the beautiful inflorescence of the onion, and then you can understand better the Liliaceae concept of the family. Of course, if it is not possible, it's okay, but then these are the leaves. These are also leaves. I'm just helping you to revise. These are the leaves and these are also leaves. What is the connection between these leaves and these leaves? Understand each one of them. Suppose I try to separate it out. Each one of them is formed from a concentric leaf. Suppose I take a section, then the leaves are concentrically arranged. They are centric leaves, therefore called as, and they are hollow from inside. You know this very well. You know the spring onion concept. The spring onion concept is that these leaves, and these are also leaves, and the stem is located only here. This is the stem. Stem part of the onion is here. This is the only stem which is disc-like, and probably some of you were expected to put the onions in the water and then show the growth of the roots. Some of you have already done it. You know why we are using these onion tips? Yes, you are right. We are using them for demonstration of the stages of mitosis. So the tips can be taken and it can be used. You have, I think this was one of the common experiences in your school days. Take a peeling of the onion. You know, you just take a peel of the onion and observe it on a microscope. I think that has been one of your primary efforts, and I think there is a lot of parenchyma here. Another very interesting thing that you should know, because in your NCERT books it is being mentioned that onion has 2n is equal to 16, n is equal to 8. You know, I'm just trying to put before you the different pieces of information about the onion. How does this grow vegetatively? What part of the onion? Well, that's an issue. You have to plant the seeds. Onions cannot be grown in the same way the garlic, the ginger can grow. You know this is because this stem is so poor. It's very small disc-like, and you can't expect the stem to make another onion. You can't cut any part because there are no auxiliary buds here. So onions can be grown only by seeds. So what do you call this as? This is a kind of a bulb, right? It's a bulb type of modification. Garlic is very similar, but then here the leaves are scaly. You please revise your details of the morphology. Again, here you have the small circular stem and the roots. What kind of roots are these? Are these adventitious roots, or they are tap roots? Very surely they are adventitious, simply because this is a monocot family. Liliaceae is a monocot family, so you expect the monocot things here. And you already know it's a trimerous symmetry. Flower has trimerous symmetry. Usually monocots will have trimerous symmetry and dicots will have a pentamerous symmetry. Lots of issues about the garlic. It's quite, onion and garlic, lots of things. Yeah, this is very specially medicinal, etc. And again, from medical point of view and from food point of view, these are all great. And yes, some of you don't consume it. That's your religious aspect. It's okay, but then this is something which is very common. We will now turn to the example. This is spiral lily. Look here. This is a kind of inflorescence. This is an umbel inflorescence now, because when the entire inflorescence is very young, it is closely packed together. But now it has bloomed, and some of the buds you can still see here. Suppose these are the 8 or 9 flowers. Well, all of them are not growing from a single node. They are growing from different nodes. That means the stem part here has been condensed. You know that you are expecting each leaf to, each flower to grow from a different node. That apart, what are the other things to be observed? Let's go for the features of the Liliaceae family here. No separation of sepals and petals. You don't have sepals and petals. What is there? Perianth. Look at the board. Perianth, 6 sepals, 3 plus 3, off-hydrated into a tube. Look here. This is the perianth. But then, of course, this perianth has additional processes attached for decoration. Basically, this is the perianth. Basic perianth is here, and these are the additional, sorry, this basic perianth is here and these are the additional things. You can then expect that there are stamens. Tepals are 3 plus 3 and the stamens are 6. Can you see the stamens? And they are epiphyllous, that means they are attached to, see, they are attached to the perianth. They are attached to the perianth. You can see the perianth very beautifully. And you can see very beautifully the anthers which are versatile. I think for many of the monocot families, anthers are versatile. What do you mean by versatile? Look here. Versatile means they are being projected through their long filament, they are projecting out, and the advantage is that the pollination will be better. Carpel, you can see the carpel here, and tricarpellary condition, but you can't see the tricarpellary condition here. This is a carpel, this is the stigma, and this is a style, and ovary will be deep inside. And what is the gynoecium? Tricarpellary, syncarpal, superior ovary, trilocular with many ovules. We may not be able to take the section of the ovary just now. That is it, and that's it. That's very beautiful. This is spider lily. There can be many different types of lilies, garden plants, so on and so forth. So this is the Liliaceae family. I think it can be still better learned by way of the pictures on the screen later on. Oh my God, I thought I will not be able to show you the ovary, but why not? I can. I'll just remove a flower from this bunch. Okay, can you see the swollen part here? And in this swollen part, I should be in a position to, otherwise also you are getting a feel that there is a tricarpellary condition. Yeah, I'll just take a section here. Can you observe clearly the 3 compartments, and some of these ovules have come out. It's a kind of axial placentation, 3 carpels, 3 compartments. Can you observe very clearly? 3 carpels. So 3 ovaries, tricarpellary syncarpous condition, and you have 3 compartments especially, and these are the ovules. Can you see the ovules which are sticking to the forceps 6? These are the ovules. These are the ovules. Each one of these ovules can be converted into a seed. Very beautiful. I'm sure the style must be very long. Let us see if we are able to, if this is a style. I wonder if I'm able to dissect the flower in order to get the details of the style. I should be able to see. Let us see. Oh my God, good. It's possible. It's possible. Can you see the style? This one. This is the style, long style. I'll keep on dissecting it further. Aha, great style, my God. Woo, this is tremendous. This is great. Oh my God, it is through this style that the pollen tube will grow, because pollen grains will be falling here on the stigma, and then there will be a pollen tube which is growing from inside the style. Oh, great. I can remember here the hibiscus flower. Hibiscus flower also has got a long style. Ooh, great. How lucky you are. You are able to see the... You can do all these things easily for yourself, because there are lots of flowers around. Even this flower, it will reach the top of the ovary now. I removed the rest of the thing. This is all the carpel, and now this is the start of the, it is the head of the ovary. On the head of the ovary, this style is attached, and I have already cut the ovary. Okay, so that is it. See how long it is. Superb. Okay, I'll keep it here. Look at this. Look at this. Very beautiful. So here is the Brassicaceae family. I think the spelling will have to be corrected later on. It's Brassicaceae, it should be Brassicaceae. We are going to correct it later on. Here is the Brassicaceae family, and it's also known as crucifery. And I think the more popular thing is the mustard. And mustard seeds are those which are being given the name Brassica juncea. But there can be different, different mustards, red and black and brown, and so they have different names. Don't worry about it. So this is the rye, which is of course the important oil seed. We will show you the mustard plant later on. Another very important another species of the Brassica is Brassica oleracea. Brassica oleracea, this is also Brassica oleracea. Then what is the difference? Both are belonging to the same species Brassica oleracea, but then these two do not appear to be similar. The reason is that this is actually the flower part, whereas flower means it's an inflorescence, whereas these are the leaves. You know this very well, cabbage. Maybe red or maybe green, different varieties exist. So although both are belonging to the same species, there are different varieties. Understand? Family divided into genera, each genus divided into species, and a given species divided into variety. Read carefully. This is variety Italica. Brassica oleracea is the species. So how will you say Brassica oleracea italica? Then it is broccoli. If it is the normal flower, typical flower, which we use as vegetable, then it is Brassica oleracea variety botrytis. This is Brassica oleracea variety capitata. So you are getting the idea now that this species is again divided into varieties. Variety is an important, a species will have 5, 10, many varieties. Mendel used 7 varieties of the pea plant, already. Ultimately, the species is Pisum sativum, and it has got several varieties like that. Here is another thing. This is Brassica rapa. Now, what is the difference? This is Brassica oleracea. This is a Brassica rapa. Do you think it is a variety? No, this is not a variety. It is a different species altogether. Understand? We are learning taxonomy side by side. Brassica oleracea and Brassica rapa. The specific epithet is different. This is oleracea. This is rapa. Whereas these two, both are oleracea. So when both are oleracea, species is same, difference is variety. Here the genus is same, Brassica, but here is Brassica oleracea, Brassica rapa. Turnip, sorghum. Again, very commonly available vegetable. And it is also very interesting because you know that this is popular root. What type of root is this? This is fusiform root. You have learned this modification. And you have learned this specially because when you take a section, you get what is called as apical bud. I will show you the apical bud later on. We will take a section of this vegetable, and there is a big apical bud. The biggest apical bud is to be found here. A different genus known as Raphanus sativus, radish. So all these are belonging to the same family. So you can expect that the floral structures of these things will be similar. Of course, this is not one flower. There are tiny flowers and they cannot be handled. We will try to show you we have got a mustard plant which I have brought, and we can show you the flower nature there. But all the flowers will be more or less similar. So Brassica oleracea, Brassica juncea, Brassica oleracea variety italica, Brassica oleracea variety capitata. This is Brassica rapa. This is Raphanus sativus, and here are the various features. And all these things will have this reticulum and the typical formula, the floral formula. आपण तुम्हीच या सेंटरचं एक वैशिष्ट्य आहे की आपल्याकडचे खूप विद्यार्थी इंटरनॅशनल लेवलला पोहोचले आहेत. अहो या ठिकाणी 15 वर्षामध्ये 6 वेळा लोक इंटरनॅशनल ऑलिम्पियाडला पोहोचले की सोपी गोष्ट नाही. हे खूप डिटेलमध्ये आपण घेतो म्हणून तुम्हाला केबीपीआय द्यायचं आहे, ऑलिम्पियाड द्यायचं आहे तुम्ही म्हणतात, मग बाकीमध्ये बाहेर गेलं पाहिजे तुम्ही. सो that's what we want to know, and then you should be able to identify the plant families whenever possible and wherever possible. One of the very common, very interesting example and a regular food item, the mustard. I'm sure mustard plants grow anywhere these days. Why these days? Anytime. Wherever there are dumping grounds, whenever we are, many times, we just put all the kitchen waste on some dumping grounds. And then we should not actually, but we do throw. Many people may not use the facility for the wet waste, but then they throw the things on some ground, and very surely, I am sure none of you is going to miss. If you just take a round, particularly where there is heaps of waste heaps, you will find this plant. Observe very closely. You are not going to miss the mustard plant. This is very commonly grown. You don't have to grow it separate. You don't need to grow it separately. You will definitely find it. See the fruit. These are the fruits. Flowers, you are able to see the beautiful yellow, and these are the fruits. And what type of fruit it is? It is siliqua. Siliqua is a type of fruit which is different from legume, and it is through this fruit, when it becomes dried, mature, you have these seeds, mustard seeds. Very beautiful. And let us examine some of the details of the flower. Understand the 4 sepals and 4 petals. I am not going to go into very much details, but you can see the yellow petals, 4 petals, and they are in the form of a cross. This is one orientation, and this is another orientation. It makes a cross, and inside you will get stamens. When you will closely observe it yourself, you will be able to find the 6 stamens. Okay, for a given flower, I think I can remove cruciform corolla because it is in the form of a cross. Okay. Okay. I think I have, from a single flower, I have some stamens left. Can you see the stamens here? I think the stamens are very clearly visible. You can get the 6 stamens. It's very tiny, and 2 will be outer and 4 will be inner. And in the center there is a gynoecium. But I think you can use a lens. For example, I can use a lens, and then through the lens it should be possible to watch these things more easily. So I am looking through the lens, and then I can very clearly observe this. Okay. Can you observe the stamens and the carpels?
Yeah, it is possible. Just a minute.
That is it, and I don't think there is more detailing required. And what type of inflorescence is this? It's a racemose inflorescence, etc. So this is typically, and it has got a typical, mustard has a typical flavor, and so a very strong smell, pungent smell. Oh yes, I can feel that. And whenever you eat radish, or sometimes people eat the vegetable out of this mustard, rye. You have that thing which is very popularly called as
Sarson ka saag.
Sarson ka saag. This is sarson. Okay, so that is Brassicaceae family, and I think we will now have to go for a slideshow for the entire thing. And before that, we are going to provide you a very small activity. We are going to give you the plant families names, and then the corresponding floral formulae. So floral formulae and the names of the plant families match the pair plant family exercise, which you should do seriously. So these are the floral formulae, 5 floral formulae, and these are the 5 families, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and A to E. It's a match the pairs. You do it. This can be a basis for multiple choice questions. Try it. I'm sure you're going to enjoy. So I think we'll have a very quick review of the plant families that we have learned: Solanaceae, Fabaceae, Liliaceae, and Brassicaceae. We'll go for Solanaceae. This is your picture in your NCERT book. Same thing. This is the Solanum nigrum, Macoy plant. This is a flowering twig. This is the flower, and this is the section of the flower. Stamens, 5 stamens. Carpel. I think, and the floral diagram you will see. Understand, from floral diagram you should be able to identify the family, or if a family is given and 4 floral diagrams are given, you should be able to identify which floral diagram is applicable, or you should be able to relate a floral diagram with a floral formula. Okay, this is Solanum nigrum. This is Datura. You can see the fruit. It's a capsule type of fruit. Datura is commonly observable. We have seen how very long the style is. The style of the Datura is quite long. That is something that we all consume. Solanum melanchina, brinjal. Belladonna. Atropa belladonna has medicinal use, particularly it's a kind of a painkiller. There are many ways it is being used. This is Ashwagandha. This is again medicinal, and it is used against rheumatism and other conditions. Of course, this is Lycoposicon Lycopesicum, and I think I mentioned to you that this is important with vitamin C, and it has got lycopene as a component. It's a berry type of a fruit. And these are the flowers, and you can see it seems that the stamens are all bunching together, but actually they are free. No doubt they are epipetalis, and I think in the practical demonstration we have seen the wild variety of the tomatoes, small tomatoes, and the flowers also was shown to you. Oh, great! Capsicum, fruitescens, chili. You never think that chilies will belong to family Solanaceae, but they do. And many people have chili growing in their pots at home. You can also do this very easily. Put some seeds and the chilies will grow easily. Yeah, this is Nicotiana tabacum, tobacco. It's very unfortunate that a tobacco plant may have some medicinal uses basically, but it is otherwise for addiction. It is the tobacco addiction which is very bad in terms of smoking and other things. And but then interestingly it belongs to Solanaceae. Petunia is being mentioned in your books as the ornamental species. This is so, the petunia. Let's go for Fabaceae family details. This is something that you have in your NCERT book. You can see the petals here, vexillum, that is standard, then the 2 ali or wings, and the 2 together they are fused to make the keel. This is a 9+1 arrangement. There's just the LS of the ovary. You should be able to, look, this is very important. When you have this kind of a point here along the side of the floral diagram, it means this is the mother axis. That means the mother axis is here, the main plant is this side. Well, I think it was shown to you clearly when we have taken into account the practical demonstration. I think for the arhar it was shown to you. So that's it. I don't think there is anything more required. So yeah, same thing, just check these things. So it is this keel that forms the boat-shaped structure, and it's in the boat-shaped structure you have the 10+2 stamens and single carpel. I'm sorry. Oh, this is something. Trigonella phenum griseum, methi. It's belonging to Fabaceae family. Indigofera tinctoria. This is a very famous plant. It is from the leaves of this plant that the material need, the blue dye, is extracted. I think these leaves are allowed to decay, and then from the decayed leaves the dye is taken out. It has got some historical reference in our Indian history. You probably are all aware of the Champaran Satyagraha by Mahatma Gandhi, and the farmers were there in trouble because Britishers were trying to claim all those indigo fera crop at a very low cost, this and that, and this has become very famous in history. It belongs to Fabaceae family. Oh, Crotalaria agentia, Sunham, Tag. This is a plant that produces a lot of fibers, sclerenchyma. Oh, this is very commonly found in your gardens. So I think this is the best flower because comparatively size is big, and if you have this flower in your garden, or it's a potted plant actually, then you can easily examine the characteristics of the flower of the Fabaceae. You should do it. Okay. Oh, Mug. Okay, we have seen this. Okay, then sweet pea, ornamental plant. Okay, soybean. Oh, this is good. I think in Maharashtra now a lot of soybean is being grown. It's a protein-rich thing, and typically, I mean, one good thing about the soybean they say is that you don't require too much of fertilizer and you don't require too much of pesticides. So I think farmers these days have started doing the farming of the soybean. Oh, sisal, eritinum, gram seeds, harbara, plenty of it. Khajanus kajan, arhartur. This was the flower that was shown to you. Oh, Sesbania, Hadga. So Sesbania, and then after the flowers, the fruits are there. याची भाजी करतात चांगल्यापैकी हदग्याची फुलं. Oh, Trifolium. Lablab purpureus wall stem plant. We'll go for Liliaceae now, and here is the typical picture in your book. Typical 3+3 arrangement. So, being a monocot family, it is trimerous. Oh, that's great. Look at this inflorescence. So, actually, each one of them will have small umbellate. Allium sativum. This is Allium cepa. This is Allium sativum. Tulips, yes, very beautiful, very colorful flowers. And in our country also the tulips they have started growing, and in Kashmir Valley tulips are being grown. But of course, basically it is Europe and particularly Netherlands which is very, very famous for its tulip gardens. This is very good. Gloriosa superba, Kailavi. We used to go get this along the Gangapur road here, and we used to get it in the forested areas also. This is very typical. This is called as Agnishikha. You know, this is Gloriosa because it looks very, very beautiful, very superb. That's why Superbaha. And actually, it has become a rare plant, so it is protected. So if you by chance see this plant somewhere, don't disturb it. Don't remove any part of this plant. But you can see very interestingly how the stamens are projecting out. So you can imagine how convenient it must be for pollination. And so the petals will attract the pollinators, and then I think the pollination will take place with the pollinators will be in contact with the stamens. It's looking like the flame. So Agnishika. We have now, well, one more thing. You must be remembering that this plant was learned for this leaf apex tendril. You know, the apices of the leaves, they make a tendrilar modification. Oh, Colchicum autumnale. Colchicum maternale, and this plant produces colchicine. It's chemical. It can be used for various purposes, but one major purpose of colchicine in biology is to arrest the cell division. You know, whenever you want the cell division to stop, you can do this. Otherwise, you can make this, use this colchicine to make polyploidy. If you want to have a diploid plant, you can make it tetraploid, hexaploid, whatever. Because the ploidy, when the 2n becomes 4n, 6n and whatnot, then naturally for any plant for that matter, well, then the ability of the plant to produce the material becomes improved. The bulbs of these plants are the ones from which colchicine is extracted. I'll go back a little. I just want to say why it is being called as curl. Again, the plant extract is used, in fact now not much probably, but otherwise it can be used to induce the labor pains. प्रसूती का येत नसतील एखाद्या स्त्रीला, जरी पिरियड्स महिने पूर्ण झाले असतील तर याचा उपयोग करत असतील. Now this is asparagus. आपल्याकडे asparagus मिळायला लागला आहे का आता? This is being used as a vegetable, but actually asparagus is better known to be of this kind. शतावरी हे तसं पॉटेड प्लांट पण असतं आणि तुमच्या गार्डन मध्ये वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारचे शतावरी प्लांट्स असतील. फॅसिक्युलेटेड रूट्स, याचा आयडेंटिफिकेशन मध्ये स्पेशल काय आहे? फॅसिक्युलेटेड रूट्स, and from that you extract a powdery thing which is good for health, and that is shatavari kalp. Particularly for lactating mothers, it is highly recommended. Shatavari. Probably you have learned shatavari. There is asparagus for cladode. Do you remember what is a cladode? Cladode is a single internode modification. Yeah. They are not leaves. It's actually in one sense originally it's a desert plant, and leaves are spiny, and the single internode stem parts get modified which look like leaf. So these are not leaves, these are the green stem. Aloe vera is very famous, Corford. You know, the lots of medicinal uses of aloe vera. The juice of aloe vera is very famous, and they have started plantations of the aloe vera, so that and it can be comparatively easily done, so that lot of value is there because it's a source of medicine. Agave, I think agave, घायपात बरेच ठिकाणी दिसतं. त्याचा इन्फ्लोरेसन्स किती मोठा असतो बघा. So it's all very interesting thing. Desert plant very clearly. Oh, Yucca gloriosa. Agave सारखंच वाटतंय ना? Yeah, but then there are very many peculiarities. There are some interesting symbiotic relationship between insects and yucca existing. Some of them you are going to learn later on in your the plant physiology chapters, reproduction. Brassicaceae, which was originally called as cruciferum. I'll go back. Yeah, I think the plant was shown to you, the mustard plant was shown to you. Brassica campestris. Please take into account the floral formula. This is the point which indicates mother axis. The floral formula. This is the rhizoplum, and falsely the ovary is divided into two compartments, 4 inner stamens and 2 outer stamens. Otherwise there are 4 sepals and 4 petals. Oh, beautiful mustard mori. नॉर्थ इंडियामध्ये यूपी आणि त्या भागामध्ये इतकं लावतात ते, इवन पंजाब, सगळी तिथे शेतं सगळी पिवळी धमक दिसतात. इट्स अ ग्रेट थिंग टू लुक ॲट द क्रॉप. द एंटायर फील्ड बिकम्स येलो. आणि याच्यात मध पण खूप चांगला असतो. देर आर पीपल हू कलेक्ट दी हनी आउट ऑफ दीज फ्लावर्स. I mean, there are beekeepers who keep the bee boxes in these crops and collect a lot of honey. Hey, look, cross this clearly. I think we have a separate flower. No, we don't have a flower around. So you can see the cross 1 and 2, and you can see the stamens here and a carpel here. हे तुम्हाला दाखवलं होतं प्लॅन. हे तुम्हाला घराजवळ नक्की दिसेल. तुम्हाला सांगितलं की जिथे असंच पडून असतं, वेन देर आर डम्पिंग ग्राउंड्स, जर असेल किचन वेस्ट येऊन टाकतात लोक तर नक्की दिसण्याची शक्यता असते. ओके, ब्रासिका ओलेरासिया व्हरायटी बॉट्रायटिस. कसं असतं, हे फुलकोबी आहे, म्हणजे हा इन्फ्लोरेसन्स एक प्रकारचा. सो दिस इज कॉलीफ्लावर, बट देन बेसिकली कन्सिडरिंग मेनी अदर प्रॉपर्टीज इट बिलॉंग्स टू दी फॅमिली ब्रासिकासी. मग अशा आपण बघितलं की there is what is called as the broccoli. Broccoli is also Brassica oleracea, but variety is italica. आणि हे बघा, ब्रासिका पुन्हा ओलेरासिया व्हरायटी कॅपिटाटा. आपण परत बघू. ब्रासिका ओलेरासिया means the genus and species is the same, but variety is different because every species is divided into varieties. This is one variety known as botrytis, and another variety is capitata. Actually, here you are observing the flower itself, and what we consume is mostly the flower means inflorescence. But here, this is the vegetative part. Actually, if this is allowed to grow further, it will have a very big flower developed. So this will develop into a flower ultimately at a proper stage of maturity, and then the characteristics of those flowers will be like those of the typically Brassicaceae family. This has one more peculiarity. I can show it right now. If you take a section, if this is the thing. एक रंग काय बदल असेल तर काही फरक पडत नाही. If you take a section, this is a section, and it is very famous because you have the largest bud, apical bud. You can see here, largest apical bud. You know the apical bud? Apical buds are small, but in this case it is quite large. So it's always used to show the apical bud. Because the stem is condensed and the leaves are very closely put together. This is a great vegetable. Oh, Brassica repa. टर्निप आपल्या खाण्यात असतं, कारण आपण लक्षात घ्या फारसं खाल्लं जात नाही, पण अवेलेबल आहे मार्केटमध्ये. आणि त्याची फुलं पण बरोबर मस्टर्ड सारखी दिसतात बघा. Flowers are looking like mustard, so much so that one can mistake these to be mustard. It's not mustard. म्हणजे तसं म्हटलं तर mustard seeds look so different and the turnip also looks so different. One is vegetative part, another is seed. पण शेवटी असं आहे की त्याची floral structure common आहे. So it is the floral design that matters more for understanding the family Brassica repa. I think that was about the slideshow. Very few things I would like to say. Please complete this chart. That's very important. Complete करा. या डायग्राम तुम्ही काढण्याची गरज नाही आहे. यू नीड नॉट ड्रॉ द फ्लोरल डायग्राम, ती लक्षात ठेवा. आणि इथे फ्लोरल फॉर्म्युला मात्र लिहा. फ्लोरल डायग्राम काढून बघण्याची गरज नाही, फ्लोरल फॉर्म्युला लिहा. एक्झाम्पल इथे जागा पुरली नाही तर बघा. हे फार महत्त्वाचं आहे, तुम्हाला हे करता आलं पाहिजे. आपण कॉन्ट्रोवर्सी सोलानसी, फेबॅसी, लिलियासी, ब्रासिकासी, मालवेसी, ॲस्टरसी. त्या ॲस्टरचा कॉलम रिकामा ठेवा. ॲस्टरसी आणि पोएसी म्हणजे ग्रास फॅमिली आणि ॲस्टरसी म्हणजे सनफ्लावर फॅमिली आपण घेणार आहे, पण ती आता आपण केव्हीपी आणि ऑलिम्पियाडच्या दृष्टीने नंतर घेऊ. सध्या आता प्लांट फॅमिलीज तुम्ही शिकलात, त्यामुळे आता हा लेसन मॉर्फॉलॉजी कंप्लीट झाला आणि प्रॅक्टिकल पण जवळजवळ दाखवलं आहे. आता थोडंफार आम्ही तुम्हाला दाखवू. तर मला असं वाटतं की हा पोर्शन तसा मग आता झाला असं डिक्लेअर करायला पाहिजे. त्याला ॲन्युअल किंगडम नंतर चॅप्टर सुरू करायचं आहे. तरी सुद्धा काही थोड्याफार गोष्टी मला तुम्हाला बघायला आवडू शकतात, म्हणून आम्ही सांगतोय की बघा. खूप नवीन काही नाही आहे, पण एक बघूयात काय असेल ते. एक थोडी रिव्हिजन म्हणून जर बघितलं तर व्हॉट यू थिंक इज दिस. मी तुमचं म्हणजे एक परीक्षा घेतात समजा. व्हॉट टाईप ऑफ फ्रूट आर दीज. दिस इज ऑफकोर्स बेरी. ते तुम्हाला चांगलं माहिती आहे. ओके, हे रूट्सचं आपण थोडं जर मॉडिफिकेशन बघितलंय, काय म्हणाल. हे रूटचं मॉडिफिकेशन कुठलं येईल. दिस इज फ्युजिफॉर्म रॅडिश. And what kind of this is? Nepiform. Nepiform and fusiform. काय आणखीन तुम्हाला दाखवता येईल बरं. ओके, what type of fruit is this? It's of course the fruit can be this. This is also this is one-seeded fruit, but it is called as a dry thing. So fruits may be dry and dehiscent or indehiscent. but they can be fleshy also. And this is from the same category as that of lemon. It's not lemon. It's a fruit from the citrus family, and this is Hesperidium. Okay. I've become something more. Yeah, this is quite interesting. This pear and apple are all false fruit. Can you see this much central? This is the actual fruit with the seed. But what is all the remaining part, which is of course partially cut now? The remaining part is the swollen thalamus. The remaining part is swollen thalamus, and this is actually the part that is developed from the ovary. So normally ovary is supposed to form the fruit, but here the ovary, along with that some other parts are also forming the fruit. So this is a kind of a false fruit. You know this very well, apple and the pear. Oh my God, I also have something interesting here. My God, good. Oh, Hajur, what do you think is this? What type of fruit is this? This is a drupe. Epicarp, mesocarp, endocarp stony. So this is drupe. These are sunflower seeds. So what do you think are these? Cypsela type of fruit. And I think this is akene. This is not cypsela, this is akene. Cypsela is mirabilis. So this is akene type of fruits where the seed coat and the fruit coat are separable. It's possible to separate the seed coat and the fruit coat. And the people consume the seeds of, these are sunflower seeds. They consume it as it's nutritious basically. I would now ask you to identify something. Normally, we also conduct practical examinations. Maybe that if possible online we'll conduct, I don't know. But here annual examination of theory is conducted after 11th, and even the practical, theory and practical. Theory we are definitely going to conduct for you. Practical if possible we'll conduct, but everything will be online. What do you think? This wheat is what? Is it seeds? Is it fruits? Is it both? I'm asking a question. Is it seeds? Is it fruits? Is it both? The answer is both. These are all one-seeded fruits. Each grain of rice, each grain of jawar, each grain of wheat are fruits. Why? This is what is called a cypsela. Refer back to your teachings of morphology fruit. Cypsela is a dry, indehiscent fruit, and where the seed coat and fruit coat is fused together to make what is called as hull. The word hull, the seed coat and fruit coat are fused together. But this is fruit. So if somebody asks you, do you consume fruits daily? You say yes. What form? Chapati. My God, how can chapati be fruit? But you can explain to them the morphology that these things are fruits. But jokes aside, that although grains are full of starch because there are endospermic seeds inside, you don't expect that these are the fruits which will have the same effect as the fleshy fruits that we consume. But these are fruits, there is no doubt. And what type of fruit it is? Cypsela. What is the difference? This is akene. This is akene, and akene fruit, the seed coat and fruit coat are separable, whereas here they are fused. In this case, they are fused. Interesting. You should have heard. You want to appear for KVPI and Olympiad, so some of these things you are supposed to know. I think I have finished with most of these details, except probably one interesting inference. Now this we brought in the afternoon and it is dried. But it's a very beautiful way to explain the racemose inflorescence. The racemose inflorescence has various types. Raceme, panicle, spadix, and so on. The racemose inflorescence, what is the peculiarity of the racemose inflorescence? The peculiarity of the racemose inflorescence is that the flowers are arranged in such a way that older flowers are towards the base and younger flowers are towards apex. Such a type of arrangement is called an acropetal arrangement. This is Caesalpinia pulcherrima, Shankasur. Typical, very beautiful. You can observe the raceme inflorescence. Racemose is a major type, and within the racemose there is what is called as raceme type. almost exactly similar inflorescence you get in Delonix regia. What is Delonix regia? It is Gulmohar. So Gulmohar and this one are belonging to the same family, Caesalpidi. Can you see? Now this is a pedicel. Every flower individually has got a stalk known as pedicel, and in the central, the central column to which the pedicel is attached is called as peduncle. Pedicel, and the vertical things, the part of the stem which is a part of this inflorescence now is called as peduncle. That is it. And suppose I remove this and just cut it. Suppose I am holding it here, and if the inflorescence begins from here, then I am holding the stalk. I'll once again say, each individual flower has pedicel. The central column is peduncle, and the stalk which I am holding is called as, there is some name, I think rachis. Okay, rachis. I am holding the rachis. Rachis continues to be the peduncle, and then there are the pedicels. Two words you must be in a position to use to explain the any kind of racemose inflorescence. Acropetal is the arrangement of the flowers, and it is opening of the flower is from base to apex. So older flowers will open first, and so it is called as centripetal. Acropetal and centripetal are two words. Acropetal is the arrangement of the flowers, and centripetal is the order of opening the flower from periphery to the center. You can expect here that at this particular end, in the racemose inflorescence, the growing point continues, but in the cymose inflorescence, the growing point is converted into a flower. I mean, those things are a little bit theoretical, and you should be able to understand them. मला वाटतं की तुम्ही निसर्गात फिरायला पाहिजे, हे तर प्लांट्स तुम्हाला दिसतील, एक्झामिन करा तुम्ही. So this is what we have done, the so called practical of the. त्याला काय पुष्कळ प्रॅक्टिकल घेता येतील, सध्या तरी एवढा आहे, गरज असेल तर आपण नंतर पुन्हा घेऊया. तर मला वाटतं एन्जॉय करा. बॉटनी खूप छान सब्जेक्ट आहे. मुख्य म्हणजे तो अवेलेबल असेल. ॲनिमल्सचा प्रॉब्लेम आहे, तो ॲनिमल्स आर नॉट इझिली अवेलेबल, नॉट इझिली सीन. प्लांट्स तुम्हाला खूप छान दिसत असतात. थोडा इंटरेस्ट घ्या, अँड विल फील नाईस.